My name is Elliot Swincher, here reporting for WJHI TV Studios, and my co-host,
Michaela Robinson, as your co-host.
And we are here today with a very special guest, Superintendent of Greater Clark County Schools, Mr. Laughner.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on here.
And how are you doing today, Mr. Laughner?
Doing great, trying to stay warm like everybody else.
So we had a very rough start to the beginning of quarter 3, and with all the snow days and everything, I was wondering what is put into consideration for the delays and closings to be made?
Well, I will tell you that's one part of the job that most superintendents like the least in terms of making those inclement weather decisions. Because usually it starts the night before. Obviously, we're looking at forecasts, we're looking at temperature, we're looking at road conditions. I'm talking to our cabinet people, transportation director, and those type things. And then typically what happens overnight, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Our transportation director also gets up. A couple other people, staff members in the district, and we go out and drive roads and look at roads, see what the conditions are. Because we have to make a decision by 5:30 in the morning typically, so we can communicate that decision to staff, parents, and students. And so there's a lot of things that go into it that people don't see. Another thing I try to do is also consult and collaborate with my peers or other superintendents in the area to see what they're going to do, see what they're dealing with. And so we try to take all that information into and factor that in and make a good decision. Obviously, school safety and student safety is number one priority. For example, like yesterday morning, we knew it was going to be very, very cold, and it was going to be close to that -10 threshold that we use as far as temperature. And we collaborated as a cabinet, and also I talked to other superintendents. We all agreed that we felt like it would be okay to go ahead and go to school. Reason being, we didn't feel like a delay was going to help us because the temperature at 7 o'clock wasn't going to be much different than the temperature at 9 o'clock. And also our transportation director had informed me that the morning before, when it was very, very cold, we didn't have any problems bus-wise and transportation-wise and picking up students. So, and then the other issue, I saw in the weather forecast is it was going to warm up. It was going to get up to the mid-20s, if we want to call that a warm-up, but it was going to warm up throughout the day and we would have been fine. So we made the decision to go. Obviously there's other factors that play into that because we've already used asynchronous learning days. We're now into the synchronous learning days. Research says that it's the best place for a child to be is getting instruction in the school.
I agree.
In front of a teacher. So we want to try to get our students in school in our classrooms, in front of our teachers as much as we can. So it's a difficult decision. It's also a decision as a superintendent. No matter what decision you make, half the people are going to hate it and the other half are going to like it. So, but it's a long process that we work through.
And then I guess to come off of Elliot's question, when it comes to making decisions about weather, anything about school, how do you handle or how do you deal with the criticism of students, parents, and teachers?
Well, I listen to it, obviously, because I like to get feedback from students, parents, staff on what issues that we had, when we decided to go ahead and go to school, whether it was ice on a sidewalk somewhere or a parking lot was slick or we had a refreeze or we have some HVAC units maybe not working properly in certain schools. So I appreciate that feedback, honestly. I mean, and also our transportation director appreciates that feedback because he needs to know, what roads are difficult to get down, what stops are not safe, because of piles of snow or ice and those type of things.
And on the topic of the new elementary school, Pike Elementary, that Jay Lake, the architecture firm, was a part of, what do you hope that the facilities will have to offer when this opens?
Oh, well, it's going to be a fantastic facility. I did a walkthrough about a month ago, and it's just going to be great. I mean, one of the things that allows us as a district is to be more efficient. The 3 new elementaries we're currently building will replace the 5 oldest elementaries in our district.
Very cool.
And that brings efficiencies in maintenance costs, staffing costs, and also just how we do business as a school district in terms of professional development with teachers and those type of things. So they're going to be fantastic facilities. We're really pleased with the progress so far, and also they're on schedule to open in July of this coming summer, and
Do you
so
know when a ribbon cutting date is, maybe?
not yet, but we will have a ribbon
All
cutting.
right.
We'll also have an open house for
hope
the
to be there.
community to walk through and see it. But they're fantastic buildings. The building in at Parkwood Elementary will be a fantastic building also. So we're very excited and proud of what we're doing in that area.
Absolutely.
No, I'm definitely excited for the new Pike Elementary. My cousin actually named the elementary school, so I'm excited to see how it works and the process of the elementary going. And just to piggyback off of that, you're a superintendent of schools, just to make sure, your job is to make sure kids in schools are going the right way. Kids in our generation are all about social media platforms, so how do you connect, or what do you do to connect to get students' point of views, or just to show yourself out there to students?
Yeah, well, that's one of the areas that we addressed when I came in as superintendent is how can we market our schools better, number one, but also how can we see what our students are doing in the social media platform to gather information from them also. So, we use a marketing firm that helps us with social media, obviously our websites and those type of things, and just marketing what Greater Clark's about, because in an environment where you have school choice, I mean, you have to sell what your schools are doing. And we have some great things going on in this district, whether it's radio, TV, or our academy model, the transformation of our school facilities in terms of what we're doing. Budget-wise, we've flipped our budget to where we were in very poor shape 6 years ago. Now we're in great shape with our budget. Yeah. And also how we treat our employees. I mean, I think as a district, we've done a good job of increasing pay and benefits for our employees.
Right.
And so it's, but getting feedback from students is very, very important to us because we want to know, are our students having a great experience going through our schools, and are we preparing them for obviously that, the experience they're going to walk into after they're done and after they graduate.
And in regards to Fanning Howie and the Jeff High Auditorium, what would you like to add about what those facilities left to offer?
Well, I'm so glad we're doing that project for not only Jeff High and Greater Clark, but also this community. I mean, I don't think people realize what that natatorium is going to do for this area. I mean, it will not only serve our students in Greater Clark and Jeff High, but also there will be probably 400 or 500 kids in that natatorium every weekend, with swimming events and things like that, which obviously that also drives economic development, and that means people from out of this area are going to come in here and stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants and things of that nature. But I think it's a fantastic addition. Jeff High has always been known for swimming and has a proud tradition of that. And this will only enhance that. And what we're trying to create, whether it's the natatorium, the tennis facility, or the schools, we're trying to create environments where kids want to be. They want to stay, and they want to enjoy themselves in that environment. And it's also a good environment for the people that work there too.
And you're doing a very good job of it, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. It's something that's I'm very passionate about. As I've been in this district for 20 years, and I've been in every school going back 20 years. And the most concerning thing when I took over as superintendent was the condition of some of our facilities, and we needed to transform our facilities. And so I so appreciate the fact that we're now getting that done, but also the fact that the community members are supporting us doing this. And I say this all the time. We're doing it without raising taxes or having a negative impact on our property taxpayers. So we've kept the tax rate the same, and so. I think over the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see these things be finished and completed, and people are going to be very pleased with what they look like.
So then I guess based off of how, as most people know, that we did get a new baseball field.
Yep.
How do you go about making decisions like that? Is it more of like a personal preference, or do you go off of Jeff community's opinions on getting a new field or not?
It's a combination of all the above. When I first came in as superintendent, we did a facility study, where we had an architectural firm and engineers come in and review every school. They looked at everything in every school we had, including HVAC, plumbing, electrical, technology and all of it, and then they also looked at our facilities outside, and they gave us a report on what needs, needed to be addressed immediately, which ones could hold off 3 to 5 years, and which ones you could wait 10, 12 years on, and it was a lot, it was a lot. I mean, we were told by architects during that time that we had the worst lot of elementaries in the state of Indiana. Like, our elementaries were in such bad shape, facility-wise, that they needed to be addressed right away. That's why we're building these 3 new elementaries to replace the 5 oldest. But we were also told, hey, your athletic facilities are getting in pretty bad shape, whether it be for parking or bleachers. If you remember back the old football stadium, the reason we redid the football stadium here at Jeff High first was the concrete pylons that were holding up the steel girders were starting to erode.
Yeah.
And the
Very
last thing I wanted on my resume as superintendent was, 3,000 people to be at a football game and the bleachers collapse because
Yeah, that would not be good.
they were so old. So it's things like that that needed to be addressed, and so we're addressing them.
All right. Any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to share about yourself?
No, I'm just real happy to be the superintendent of Greater Clark. I think we're moving in the right direction. Like I said earlier, we're transforming our facilities. We've improved our budget a great deal to where we're now competitive in the marketplace or leading the marketplace in terms of salary and benefits for our staff, and that's where we should be as a district. Academically, we have some great programs going on throughout the district, whether it's the academies here at our high schools, but also the science or reading initiative that we're doing at our elementaries. We're currently working with our principals on a data-wise process in terms of how our principals analyze data and make sure that drives instruction. So we have a lot of great things going on in the district, and we're just going to keep continuing to push forward. Ultimately, we want to do what's best for our students, and we want our students to achieve great things.
All righty. Well, that sounds good, and thank you very much for being here. My name is Elliot Swincher, reporting for WJHI TV Studios.
And I'm your co-host, Michaela Robinson. We want to thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Laughner.